So let's talk a little bit about red flags that might suggest a provider is cutting corners. In your opinion, what are some common warning signs that a provider isn't delivering a true pen test?
If you get a report and the report is, I guess it's hard to say that you would see it as canned if you didn't look at reports on a regular basis, but if you look at a report and the first part of the report is generic, it doesn't apply to your company directly. Your name is mentioned in it, but it's mentioned in a very obvious place, so it's like it's automated. And then you get to the technical portion of the report and it's got 40,000 findings in it, right? If they put in the report, hey, here's a finding, we didn't test it, we didn't ask you if you wanted to have it tested, you should probably go and fix it, right? But they don't say anything about, okay, well, we found it, we ran these tests, this is what we identified, here's how it could potentially be a problem for you, and here's what we consider the risk value to be. Then again, it still could just be an automated scan. It could still just be an automated scan and they haven't done any real work on it. Another one is communication, right? So for us, when we perform a penetration test within the rules of engagement, we will give you a direct line to the tester, both phone number and email. Our tester, usually 30 minutes before the penetration test starts, will send an email saying, hey, I'm about to start testing in about 30 minutes. It might be an hour before, but it's never less than 30 minutes. And then if the client wants to say, hey, hold on a minute, I forgot we were doing this test today, we just had a problem, we need to wait, they can send an email directly to the tester and everything pauses. There's no delay between them notifying the project manager reading the email, then contacting the tester to say, hey, stop. It's usually within a minute or two, testing can stop or be prevented from starting, right? If the tester finds a vulnerability, the tester would then notify the client that says, hey, I found XYZ, I'd like to be able to validate it. Here are the risks to me performing this particular exploitation, if there are any. Do I have your permission? And then the client says yes or no. If the client says yes, we perform it, and then we let the client know what was going on. It goes in the report. If you get a tester and you say, hey, we're going to start testing on the 4th. Today is the 1st. We're going to start testing on the 4th. Testing will end on the 6th, right? Or the 14th, or however big the project is. And that's the last thing you hear until a report shows up in your mailbox. There's a problem, right? Because when you're dealing with performing tests against somebody's network, there's always the potential that something's going to go wrong. We tested a client at one point where they had a really old, I don't remember if it was Cisco or Juniper or what. They had a really old layer 2 equipment, and one packet shut down the whole system because the frame was either too large or it had a window size that wasn't right. I don't remember the details, but if you have a client and you don't tell them ahead of time, I'm going to test on XYZ date, and then I reach out to you to say I'm now testing, and they don't have the ability to communicate with you directly, you could shut down their network, and now there's no interaction. Your clients are actually sitting there going, oh my God, everything went down. And unless that one person who knew about the pen test, in cases where there's only the one, knows about the pen test, then until they get brought into the loop, everybody's chasing their tail, right? Because you said we're going to test in 4 days, and then 4 days later you're testing and everybody's off doing their own thing, and there was no reminder for it. So, and that's just one example of how things can go wrong. And if you're not communicating on a regular basis to say, hey, this is what we're doing, then it can cause problems.